everyone. Today I'm doing a clinical presentation and functional limitations report on myself. This is going to be what I tell my therapist on Thursday when I have my therapist appointment, and this is going to be in an ASMR format. So if you guys like ASMR, hopefully you enjoy this because this is really deep and real. Okay, very deep shit. Clinical presentation and functional limitations report. Subject: Joseph Cuts. Date: March 26, 2026. Prefatory note on communication barriers. Due to documented executive dysfunction and significant analysis paralysis cognitive static, I experience acute difficulty with verbal recall and self-expression when under situational stress. To ensure diagnostic accuracy and overcome these disability-related communication barriers, I'm utilizing a digital brief to assist in my presentation of my history and current functional status. Section 1. Neurological and autonomic dysfunction. I am experiencing persistent high-intensity orthostatic vertigo, rated 7 out of 10, accompanied by frequent scotoma, visual stars, and debris. I also report intermittent paresthesia, pins and needles in my upper and lower extremities when I'm waking up from bed. These symptoms present a significant risk of syncope, fainting, necessitating a sedentary lifestyle. I categorize my isolation as a defensive strategy for my safety so that I can maneuver to prevent physical injury. It's a defensive safety maneuver to prevent physical injury during dizzy spells. Part 2. Pharmacological adverse reactions and compliance. I maintain 100% compliance with my sertraline dose at 8 a.m. of 50 milligrams and my Abilify dose at 8 p.m. of 5 milligrams and my Atarax dose nightly of 25 milligrams. However, the adverse effects are functionally disabling, and Atarax induces profound psychomotor retardation and excessive daytime somnolence and drowsiness. The sertraline causes acute gastrointestinal hypermotility, leading to electrolyte depletion and secondary dehydration, which worsens my vertigo. Basically, I get the sertraline squirts. My medication compliance currently acts as a functional barrier to my daily activities. Wow, guys, that's amazing. Section 3. Substance use, history, and self-medication. I began chronic marijuana consumption at age 13 as a direct response to my extreme environmental stressors and peer pressure. This behavior continued for 14 years until the age of 27. Clinically, this served as a long-term maladaptive coping mechanism to manage untreated internal static. I read that incorrectly. It is related to this. Otherwise, I would not be talking about it right now. And the trauma of my living situation, which also led to this substance use. Section 4. Early adolescent behavioral dysregulation and survival trauma. Now this is really dark, so if you guys are not very inclined to hearing about some very dark stuff, then I please apologize. I apologize for this section, but this is some real stuff, okay? During a period of extreme instability in 2012, from 2011 to 2012, my family underwent an eviction process resulting in us squatting in our residence for 1 year without water, electricity, or consistent food. We had gas, so we were able to go to the church for food banks as well as to get water, and my uncle would help us out with food and water sometimes as well. But we would use buckets to bathe, like how they do in third world countries. During this period of total resource deprivation, I engaged in severe behavioral dysregulation and sadistic/masochistic acts of cruelty towards household animals, such as my 3 dogs, where I engaged in zoophilia as well as torture with ropes and choking. These actions were a direct manifestation of extreme environmental frustration, displaced anger, and survival psychosis induced by the deprivation of my living conditions at ages 12 to 14 years old. 5. Section 5. Chronic domestic abuse and coerced silence. I am a survival of extreme childhood trauma and physical torture administered by both my father and my mother, as well as an episode where I was sexually abused by my uncle on my mother's side, named Robert. Edward is my other uncle. He never abused me. He's a good guy. But they were both in the military during the or during the Iraq War, Desert Storm or whatever, and they came back fucked up. But my uncle Robert was incredibly messed up. Sorry, excuse my language, but yeah, my uncle Robert was incredibly messed up and came back as a pedo. Anyways, including me and my sister. So this included being forced to kneel on salt with my arms raised and being beaten with belts, electrical cords, and sticks, and being told that if I let my arms down, I would be beaten. My mother frequently punished me for crying during these episodes. Furthermore, I was subjected to coerced silence during a Child Protective Services, or CPS for short, investigation initiated by my grandmother. My mother coerced me into lying to the investigators, threatening that I would be removed from the home and that she would be incarcerated if I told them the truth. This forced me to become a silent witness to my own abuse, a trauma that fundamentally damaged my ability to advocate for my own safety. Section 6. Environmental pathologies and infestations. I currently reside in a toxic environment controlled by my father, characterized by paternalistic, controlling dynamics. My physical environment is under chronic siege by multi-species infestations yearly, including cockroaches, bedbugs, and rats in the attic. I have also documented parasitic mites from these rodents living in the attic, migrating onto my bed as I sleep. Furthermore, the accumulation of refuse and garbage and the disrepair of my yards, the front and backyard, is a direct manifestation of my disability related executive dysfunction. Section 7. Psychological profile learned helplessness. I experience constant internal static or radio fuzz, leading to severe analysis paralysis. The combination of chronic environmental toxins, vermin, and paternal control has induced a state of learned helplessness. My brain has reached a cognitive threshold where my inability to change my environment has led to a total shutdown of my motivational systems, functioning as a total system failure, and I feel like a failure as a result of it, but I'm glad I'm getting help now. Section 8. Occupational History and Hereditary Etiology. My history of chronic absenteeism and rapid job termination is a direct consequence of my autonomic and psychological symptoms listed above. There is a clear hereditary component of my condition as well, mirroring my mother's documented history of ADHD and health struggles. Wow, isn't that crazy? So basically, that's all I wanted to tell you guys today. That's what I'm going to be telling my therapist on Thursday. Okay, now bye. Bye bye.